Hello, beautiful people, and welcome. In today's video, we are going through the homework packet for the Chapter 4 exam. Reminder, I am human, so if I make a mistake, please let me know where the mistake occurs so that way I may learn from it. Question number 1, write an equation of the line with the given slope and y-intercept. Now, with slope and y-intercept, they are going to be asking for slope-intercept form. So this is one of the formats that you need to have memorized. Slope, intercept, which is y equals mx plus b. So for both of these, we are going to go y equals mx plus b, where your slope is your m value and your intercept, this y value here, this -8, is going to be your b value. So to complete this question, we are going to replace m with -4, keep the x, and we're going to replace this plus b with a -8. This is your slope-intercept form. Let's do this again. Let's start out with y equals mx plus b. Your slope is your m value. Your y-intercept, now it looks like a fraction. Don't worry about it. We don't really care about that. We are going to replace your m. We're going to replace your b. Keep the y. Keep the x. And then only change out your m and your b value. Okay, moving on. Question number 2, write an equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Okay, so once again, keywords here are important. Slope-intercept form means we're going to be writing it y equals mx plus b. So just like in question number 1, we need our slope, which is the yellow, and we need this purple y-intercept. So for the purple y-intercept, we're going to take a look at the y-axis here, and you're going to take a look, where is there an intersection? So there is a point right here. That is your y-intercept. And they kind of told you what that point is, but you can also look at the number, which is -2. So this b value is going to be our -2. And now we just need to calculate our slope. So we're going to go rise over run. So you're always going to ask yourself, is this increasing or decreasing? We are going uphill. So that means we have an increasing slope, which means slope, let me write that out, is going to be positive. Now, how much up and over? Well, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4 up, and 1, 2 to the right, 4 over 2, which gives me just 2 as our slope. Now, remember, this is a positive slope because we do have an increasing function, meaning we are going uphill. So what do we do with that 2? We're going to keep that y in our equation. And with our m, we're going to replace m with this 2 for our slope. So slope is 2. I'm going to bring that 2 here. We still have our x, and then we have our -2 for our y-intercept. Remember, this is a positive slope because we are going uphill. Moving on. Write an equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Again, they are telling you in what format they want this in. Now, these 2 questions are going to be kind of like a 3-part question. Part 1 is going to be, first of all, they're not telling you your slope. We want y equals mx plus b, but they are not telling you what m is. In the previous examples, they did. Or we had a picture, we can calculate it. So step number 1, you're going to calculate the slope. This is your slope formula, your rate of change formula. And that is y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Label your points. x1, y1, x2, y2. y2 is 4, y1 is negative 4, x2 is 0, x1 is 2. Now again, be careful here with your double negative, so I encourage you to use a calculator. Type in exactly what you see. So 4 minus open negative 4, close it, I get 8. On top, 0 open, close it, minus 2, close it, I get negative 2. 8 divided by negative 2 is a whole number, so my slope, my m value, is negative 4. That's step number 1. Step number 2, you're going to write out your point slope form. So this is a different formula that you have to have memorized. And that is y minus y1 in parentheses equals m open x minus x1, close it, close it. You're going to be replacing 3 items. You're going to be replacing your y1, your m, and your x1, and then you're going to continue to simplify to the format that they want. So they want it in slope-intercept form. That's the format we need to write our answer in. So we have y minus y1 is negative 4 equals we slope at negative 4, and x1 was positive 2. Careful of your double negatives. So if you see double negatives, you have to change them into a positive. So I have one set of double negatives here. So we have y plus 4 is equal to negative 4, open x minus 2. Now again, this right here is in point slope form. And I apologize, I should have given you more space, but we live and learn. So in step number 3, we're going to continue from this point slope form. That's not the format that they want, by distributing and solving for y. I'm going to take my negative 4 and I'm going to multiply it by x and by negative 2. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times 2 is 8. I'm going to subtract 4, subtract 4. So my equation in slope-intercept form is y equals negative 4x plus 4. This is my slope-intercept form. Okay, let's try this again. I'm going to do my slope a little higher just to give me some more space. So I'm going to take this right up here. Again, with our formula, y2 minus y1 is the same formula for your rate of change from chapter 3. Label your points, x1, y1, x2, y2. And we're going to put in our y2, which is 12, y1, which is 4, x2, which is 0, x1, which is 8. Use a calculator if you need to. 12, open, close it, minus 4, open, close. I get 8. Oops. 0, close it, minus 8, close it. We get negative 8. 8 divided by negative 8. Oh, you can't see that. I apologize. That is negative 1. So for our slope in step number 1, slope was, what did we get on our calculator? Negative 1. Keep track of that. That's your step number 1. Step number 2, you're going to write this out in point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And I'm going to go ahead and do our opens. Here's the formula in 3a. We're going to change out the y1, the m, and the x1. So I already pre-opened my y1, my m and my x1. And I'm going to put in y1 was 4, slope was -1, and x1 was 8. There are no double negatives here, so I can remove extra parentheses. Y minus 4 is equal to -1, open x minus 8. This right here is not your answer. This is in point slope form. What they want is slope intercept form. So y equals mx plus b is what they want. So we're going to move on to step number 3, taking our equation that we just got, distributing that -1, so multiplying that -1 in onto x and then onto this -8. So we end up having y minus 4 is equal to -1x plus 8. Add 4 to both sides. We are solving for y. Y is equal to -1x plus 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And again, you can keep it like this. That's fine. But typically, we want to write it out without any ones here in front of x. So we have -x plus 12 for our answer. Okay, moving on. Question number 3. Or I guess question number 4. We just did number 3. Question number 4, write an equation in slope-intercept form that passes through the given point and has the given slope. All right, well, same thing as before. These are missing parentheses. Let's put those in. What do they want? They want slope-intercept form. So this is y equals mx plus b. And we are given a point and we are given a slope. So honestly, it's less than what we have to do a few moments ago because slope is already given to us. So this right here should be a level lower than what we did. So let's say hypothetically this is a level 3 question. This is a level 2 question. So let's go ahead and write out your point slope form. And that was the y minus y1 equals m x minus x1 format. Again, we are going to change 3 things here. We're going to change our y1, our m, and our x1. Oh, I did not label my point. Let's go back. x1 is here, y1 is here. So that means y1 is going to be 3. Slope is given to us. Slope is 3. And then x1 is going to be 2. Any double negatives? No. So we're going to just drop some of our parentheses. Don't drop all of them. Again, this right here is not your answer. This is your point slope form. So we need to continue to write it in slope intercept form. By distributing that slope of 3. So we're going to pick up this 3. I know there's a lot of 3's here, and I almost made a mistake, but I'm glad I caught myself. This should be a 2. We're going to pick up that 3. We're going to multiply onto x and onto this -2. So we get y minus 3 is equal to 3x minus 3 times 2 is 6. And then add 3 to both sides here. Y is then equal to 3x. We shift this up here, minus 3. And this is your answer for slope-intercept form. Okay, doing exactly the same thing. Step number 1, we want point slope form. So let's go and write that out. Let's label our point as x1 and y1. Y1 is 28, x1 is 4, slope is a -1/2. Now it is a fraction, don't worry about that. It's going to be okay. Any double negatives? No. So we're going to go ahead and write this out. Again, yes, this is a negative 1/2 x. And then here's where you don't have to worry about it. Yes, it is a fraction. Let's go and pick up our calculators. Let's make sure you can see this. There it goes. So to distribute this 1/2 negative onto x, we just write them next to each other. Make sure your x is not on 1 and not on 2. It kind of has to be in the middle. But to distribute this negative 1/2, this is wrong. So take a look at what I have on my calculator. This is wrong. This is not correct. Anytime we have fractions with our calculators, you have to put them in parentheses, okay? After we put them in parentheses, we're going to multiply that by this -4. And sometimes they just will give you a whole number. That's not all and always, it's sometimes. If it is a fraction, convert it to an improper fraction. So this is just 2, a positive 2. Now that we have dealt with the fraction, yes, we still have a fraction, but watch what happens. My goal is to write it in slope-intercept form, so I'm going to add 28 to both sides, leaving me with y equals negative 1/2 x plus 30. And this is your slope-intercept form. So even though sometimes we have fractions, sometimes they just work out. All right, let's go ahead. Write an equation in question number 5 in point slope form. Okay, so this is the first time they're actually asking something different of us. Up until this point, all of our answers looked as y equals mx plus b, but now they are asking us for just point slope form. So what is point slope form? We have seen this point slope form in question number 4. We have seen this point slope form in question number 3. Sometimes we stop with point slope form if they are asking us for that format. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So this is going back to like a level 1 style question because they are giving us the information that we need to change. So we need to change 3 things. I need to change y1, m, and x1. And take a look at the information that they've given us. They're giving us a point, x1, y1, and they're giving us our m value already. So we're going to take our equation, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Y1 is negative 2. X1 is negative 8. Slope is 5. Anytime we have double negatives, we need to remove those double negatives. So we have adding here, adding here. So we're left with y plus 2 is equal to 5, open x plus 8. Now, this is where you need to ask yourself a question. What do they want? So they are asking you to write an equation in point slope form. Point slope form is this format here. So I am going to put a box around this. This is what they are asking us for. Do not do more if they're asking you for point slope form. If they're asking you for a different format, then you have to continue. Let's try this again. Label your point, x1, y1. They are giving you your slope already. It's already labeled as m. Write out your formula. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Let's put in our information. Y1 is 6, x1 is negative 6. Slope is a negative 3/2. Simplify any double negatives. Yes, this is a fraction. No, I do not care. Double negatives is what I care about. No, you do not have to do more. Why do we not do more? Because we read the directions. They want it in point slope form. So when you get to this point, you're done. Okay, please learn to read the directions. Otherwise, you're going to continue solving. And if you continue solving, points will be removed for you not reading the directions. Question number 6. Write an equation in, okay, let's learn to read our instructions. They want it in point slope form. Okay, so what do they want the answer to look like? Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Then they want the answer in, so we're learning to read the directions. Write an equation in point slope form. That is point slope form in pink. Then they want it in slope-intercept form. So now they're looking for another equation, and that equation is y equals mx plus b. So we want two formats. So think back to question number 3, where we ended up having both, and that's what we want. Step number 1, you need to calculate for your slope. Slope is not given to you, so we need to calculate it. Now you have a choice because they are giving you a picture. You can count your slope, or if you want, they are giving you 2 points and you can just use the slope formula. That's up to you. Again, your slope formula is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. If they give you a picture, I encourage you to count. Always go up first. 1, 2. So I'm going 2 up. 1, 2, 3, 4 left. And again, be careful here. Because we are going downhill, that means we have a decreasing function, which means our slope is going to be negative. Okay? Again, you can do this here using your points. I am not going to do that. So I had a 2 up. Always go up first in your numerator. Then I had 4 left, which means I have a negative slope of 1/2. This is going to be our m value. Okay, now that we have our slope, we can go into point slope form. Now the question comes in, well, which point do I use? It really doesn't matter. Choose the points with a prettier number. It's fine. That is okay. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this -2. Why did I choose that point? I don't know, because it was lower. It doesn't matter, okay? So for my point slope form, I have my formula. So I'm going to write it a little bit higher in case I have, so this is step number 2, in case I have a double negative that I need to take care of. I'm going to erase m because I already know what m is. We have to know what m is in order to proceed. So here's my x1, y1. Again, you could have used -6. You're just going to end up with a different looking equation. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it's going to look a little bit different. Okay, so what is x1? Sorry, y1 is 2. x1 is -2. And then we're going to put in our slope of 1/2. I did end up having a double negative, so we're going to convert that to a positive, which means now when I write my answer, I have y minus 2 is equal to -1/2, open, x plus 2, close it. Okay, so this is an answer. We are going to put a box around it. This is for your point slope form. Now we're going to move on from our point slope form into our slope-intercept form. So we're going to pick up that y minus 2 is equal to -1/2, open, x plus 2. And yes, you're going to need to distribute that -1/2. So when you have -1/2 next to x, you just write it next to each other. Make sure that x is in the middle. But when you take that -1/2 and multiply it by a +2, this is where sometimes calculators can help. Remember, anytime you have a fraction, you're going to type in that fraction in parentheses, just like I have it here. Then you're going to multiply by a +2, and that gives us a -1. I still have y minus 2 on the other side. Add 2, and I get y is equal to 1/2 x plus 1. And now we do, again, the same thing for b. Let's start by our slope. Is the slope increasing or decreasing? I am going downhill. So that means I have a decreasing slope, which means my slope is going to be negative. Then I'm going to, again, you have a choice. You can use your slope formula. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just going to count. So I have 2 points. I have a point here and I have a point here. You don't have to use those points. I'm just going to choose 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, you always want to write the up in the numerator. And then we go left 5. So that means 5 divided by 5 is 1. But the slope is negative because we are going downhill. So that means I have a negative 1 as my slope. Choose a point that you want for your y1 and x1. Again, to me, it doesn't matter. You're just going to perhaps have a different looking answer. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it's going to be different looking. I'm going to choose that point just because it's lower. No other reason. And I'm going to write out my y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1 formula. I'm just going to do that in a different color here. Stands out a little bit more. Label your x1, y1. Let me erase this. So I have x1, y1. So y1 is negative 5, x1 is a positive 1, and our slope was negative 1. Any sort of double negatives need to be changed. So I'm going to have a double negative here. That's going to be a positive. No double negatives there. And so now we write out our point slope form. Y plus 5 is equal to negative 1, open x minus 1, close it. This is your answer for point slope form. But to continue to slope-intercept form, we're going to take that same equation and we're going to distribute this negative 1. So this negative 1 is going to go on x as negative 1x and onto this negative 1, which is going to give me a positive 1. Subtract 5 on all sides. And we write out our answer as y equals negative 1x minus 4. Now again, if you give me this answer, that is perfectly okay. But sometimes we want to not put a 1 next to x, so we put negative x minus 4 like this. Either answer is okay. I will accept both. Okay, moving on. Question number 7. Okay, write an equation in point slope form of the line passes through the given points. Okay, so let's pause here. What do they want? They want an equation in point slope form. Okay, what is point slope form? Y minus y1 is equal to m open x minus x1. Write the equation. Okay, so we're continuing now. Write the equation in slope-intercept form. So again, this is a two-part question. First, they wanted the answer in slope-intercept. Sorry, first they wanted in point slope form, which is here this pink. Then they want it in slope-intercept form, which is this yellow. Now, the difference between question number 6 and question number 7 is here they give us a picture so we can count for slope. Here they don't give us a picture, so we must use the rate of change formula. This is the formula for slope, which is also called the rate of change. So it adds just one little step here, which is your y2 minus y1, x2, x1. Label your points x1, y1, x2, y2. Put in, so y2 is 13, y1 is 19, x2 is 5, x1 is negative 5. Pick up a calculator. After you find your slope, it's pretty much the same thing that you did in question number 7. So I get negative 6 on top. Double negative here, so be careful. So we have 5 minus, open, negative 5, close it. I get 10. Now notice here we do end up having a fraction. So if I do negative 6 divided by 10, make sure you see that. That gives me a decimal. Decimals are not allowed. If you give me a decimal, I'm going to mark it wrong. It's not a little bit wrong. It's wrong, wrong. Okay, don't give me a decimal. You're going to press second. You're going to press PRB. So this button right here, PRB. This is going to take your answer, convert it from fractions into decimals and decimals into fractions. Now, sometimes it gives you a pretty fraction like this, like negative 3/5. And that is wonderful. If it gives you something like a mixed number, 2 and 1/4, then you have to convert it to a mixed number. Now that we have our slope, we're going to write out our, so this is step number 1. Now we are to step number 2. Step number 2 is point slope form. Y minus y1 is equal to m open x minus x1. Now I do this on top of the line in case I need to do anything with double negatives. Y1 is 19. Y2, just kidding, x1 is negative 5. So I'm going to highlight that just because I misspoke. This is what I'm looking at now for my points. And then slope was, what was slope? Negative 3/5. Any double negatives? Yes. So we need to take care of this double negative here into a plus. So our answer is y minus 19 is equal to negative 3/5, open, x plus 5. Again, please make sure you understand what is your point slope form versus your slope intercept form. So for your slope intercept form, we're going to pick up that same equation. And now we need to distribute that fraction. When we take this negative 3/5 and multiply it by x, we're going to be writing that x in the middle of that fraction. Now, when we take that 3/5 negative and multiply by 5, this is where you can pick up a calculator. Make sure you guys can see that. There it is. So open negative 3/5. So this is our negative 3/5. We're going to multiply that by open a positive 5, close it. And again, sometimes it gives you a whole number. This is not an always. This is a sometimes. So we end up with the negative 3 that I'm going to write here. Now I still have my y minus 19. So now I'm going to add 19 to both sides. Writing out our slope-intercept answer, y equals negative 3/5 x. Make sure your x is in the middle. And then we got negative 3 plus 19, which is a positive 16. That looks weird. Let me go ahead and change that. And this is our slope-intercept form. Okay, let's go ahead and do that one more time. Slope, we got to calculate. Again, rate of change formula. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Label x1, y1, x2, y2. We got y2 is negative 7, y1 is negative 1, x2 is 3, x1 is 6. Let's go ahead and type in the top. So negative 7, close it, minus open negative 1. Careful, double negatives here. We're ending up with the negative 6 on top. 3, open, close it, minus open 6, close it, and negative 3. So we end up with -6. Oh, you cannot see that. I apologize. -6 divided by -3. I get a +2 for my slope. So m is a +2. Point slope form, y minus y1 equals m open x minus x1. y1 is -1. x1 is 6. Slope was a +2. Any double negatives? Yes. Take care of those double negatives here. So my answer in point slope form is y plus 1 is equal to 2 open x minus 6 close it. That is your point slope form. Now they are asking also for slope-intercept form, so we're going to pick up that same equation. No fractions here. Happy dances all around. We're going to pick up that +2. We're going to multiply it by x, and we're going to multiply it by -6, which is a -12. Bring down the y plus 1. Subtracting 1 on both sides will get us our slope-intercept form. And we write that answer here on the line. Alrighty. Moving on. Determine which of the lines, if any, are parallel or perpendicular. You must show proof of reason. Okay, so if you have colors, this is a good chance for you to color code some of your items. So here we have this line right here. This line in yellow has 2 points. First point is 0, 5 and 3, 4. So these 2 points are on the yellow line. Next, I have this line here. Let's call this blue. On this blue line, and I'm going to kind of give myself a little bit of space. On this blue line, I have 2 points, -1 and 1, and 2, 0. Okay, so I have a yellow, I have a blue. Now let's talk about what color is going to stand out? Let's talk about a pink. And on this pink line, I have, and I'm looking, be careful here, it's not 1 and -1, that's on the blue. I have a 0, 0, and what's my other line on the pink? And 2, 5. All right, so I have 3 lines. I have the yellow, the blue, and the pink. I'm going to calculate slope for all of them. Now, slope is your rate of change. So you're going to calculate, let's go ahead and let's see if I can cover this up really quickly so it's not going to be confusing. So I'm going to cover these 2 lines up. That's gone. So I'm going to calculate slope for each. And again, slope is your rate of change formula. So y2, y1, x2, x1. Y, just kidding. That's embarrassing. This is an x. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2 is 4, y1 is 5, x2 is 3, x1 is 0. Use a calculator if you need to. So we get 4 minus 5, which is -1. Well, let's do that together on a calculator. We get open 4, close it, minus open 5, close it. It's -1 on top. And then we have open 3, close it, minus open 0, close it, we get 3. So our slope here is -1/3. I am going to highlight that so we know that this right here is the slope for our yellow line, okay, for the yellow. I'm going to do the same thing now for the blue, and I'm going to do the same thing for the pink. So right now, our focus is going to be on that blue line. So we're going to do exactly the same thing. Here's x1, y1, x2, y2, writing out our slope formula. Y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Y2 is 0, y1 is 1, x2 is 2, x1 is negative 1. Typing this into the calculator if you need to. We get open 0, close it, minus 1, open, close it. We get negative 1 on top. Then we get 2, open, close it, minus, open, negative 1. Careful here, double negatives. We get 3. This is my slope for the blue line. Okay, and I again am trying to color code this so you guys know it. On the exam, bring highlighters, bring colors. It is okay to color code your exam. That's absolutely okay. And then now we're going to get rid of the blue. That's gone. And we're going to focus on our pink. And we're going to, again, all we're doing right now is calculating the slope, the rate of change. So y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Label your points, x1, y1, x2, y2. Y2 is 5, y1 is 0, x2 is 2, x1 is 0. Again, use a calculator if you need to. So this one, 5, open, close it, minus 0, open, close. That's just 5. And then 2, open, close it, minus 0, open, close it. And I get 2. Okay, now that we have all of our slopes, all of our rate of changes, we're going to compare all of them and see which one is going to give us the correct answer, okay? Meaning, they are asking us, let's go back to what it's actually asking us. They are asking us if things are parallel or perpendicular, if any. So it can be parallel, it can be perpendicular, or it can be nothing, okay? So for parallel lines, slopes are identical, okay? Parallel lines means slope is the same. Parallel lines, slope is the same. If we are talking about perpendicular, slopes are opposite reciprocals. And reciprocals are opposite, which means plus versus a minus. Reciprocals means you flip the fraction. So we're taking a look at all 3 of these here. And they already labeled like the ABCs. So our blue is an A. Our yellow was our B. And our pink was a C for the name of the line. So we have line A, line B, line C. So if we're taking a look at these slopes, notice that these are the same. And then notice that 5/2 is kind of random. If I take 1/3 and flip it, it would be a positive opposite. So opposite reciprocal. Let's go ahead and write this out on kind of just separate. So for perpendicular, we would take this negative 1/3, we would make it positive, and we would then flip the 3 over 1. So perpendicular slope would be a positive 1/3. I don't have that. I have a random 5 halves. So what we know is that lines B and lines A are parallel lines. How do we know? Well, because slopes are exactly the same. Okay, moving on to B. Now, B is giving us 3 different equations, line A, B, and C. They are not giving us a picture. No, you do not graph these. We are still going to be comparing our slopes. But in order to compare each slope, we have to convert these into slope-intercept form. Now, this one is already in slope-intercept form, which is, again, y equals mx plus b. Please memorize your formulas, okay? So we need to convert line A is 4x minus 3y is equal to 2. So I'm going to solve this really quickly and get y by itself. So I'm subtracting 4x, kind of like we did with linear equations, literal, not linear, literal equations, where I'm just kind of moving things around. I'm not really doing much. Here I need to divide by -3. Be careful because every single thing gets divided by a -3. So now we have a positive 4/3 x in the middle minus -2/3. Yes, it is a fraction. No, we don't care about that. Then we have line B. Line B is already in slope-intercept form, so we're just going to copy it down. You don't have to put them in a box. I'm just circling them. And then line C also needs to be converted. So we got 4y plus 3x is equal to 4. Again, our goal here is to solve for y. This is called a literal equation where we are literally just moving things around. Divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4. Y is then equal to -3/4 x plus 4 divided by 4 is 1. Okay. None of these are your answers. This is just work. What we're looking for is either a perpendicular or parallel lines. So notice how we have a positive 4/3 and a positive 4/3 here. Positive 4/3, positive 4/3. That means that these two have the same slope and are parallel. How do we know that they are parallel? The slopes are the same. Now we compare these slopes of 4/3 into a -3/4. So we got to check, do this kind of off to the side. If I take my 4/3, this is kind of a question mark check. Here's my 4/3. It is positive. So step number 1 for a perpendicular, I'm going to take this positive, I'm going to make it into a negative. Then I'm going to take my fraction and I'm going to flip it. 3 goes on top, 4 goes on the bottom. So my perpendicular slope is -3/4. Do I have a -3/4? Yes. So that means that yes, we have a perpendicular line to a line A and B. So line C is perpendicular to line A and B, and line A and B are parallel. Again, how did we do this? We wrote each one as slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Then we took a look at our slopes, which is your m values here, and we compared, are they identical, are they parallel, or are they opposite reciprocals, which makes them perpendicular. Moving on. Alrighty, question number 9. Let me adjust my papers here. Write an equation of the line that passes through the given point and is parallel. Okay, parallel. Parallel means same slope, identical slope. Okay, so step number 1, you are going to pick up the given equation. This equation is given to you. And you're going to solve this for y equals mx plus b. So step number 1, take your equation, the one that they've given you, and you're going to solve for y equals mx plus b, which is slope-intercept form. What that looks like is I am going to get y, solve for y by itself. And my goal here is to acquire my m value. Careful here, because how many x's do you have? You have 1 x's, so this is 1/3 x. Negative 12 divided by 3 is a negative 4. So this is your step number 1. After you solve for your y equals mx plus b, you're going to identify your m value. So your m value is in front of your x. So my m value here is 1/3. Next, I need to write the equation. I have a point, x1, y1. So I am going to do exactly what I did in the beginning of this homework. I have a point, I have a slope, and I need to write a new equation. Now they're going to be asking you for the equation in y equals mx plus b format, even though it's not stating that in this particular question. That is what they're asking you for. So we have y minus y1 equals m open x minus x1. Y minus y1 is 2. M is now 1/3. X1, excuse me, is 18. Double negatives, no. So now we continue to solve by distributing that 1/3. Remember, with fractions, you want them to be in parentheses. So we got open 1/3, close it, times open, we got a negative 18, close it, and we get a pretty number of negative 6. Add 2 to both sides. We get y equals 1/3 x minus 4. This is your answer. So here's your question. Here's your answer. I'm going to go ahead and separate this with a line, so that way my A's and B's don't cross over. All right, let's go ahead. We want the same slope, so we're going to use the same slope. And we're going to continue. Step number 1, we want this in y equals mx plus b format, which is your slope-intercept form. We got 2y is equal to 3x plus 10. So this one already has x and 10 on one side, so I'm just going to divide by 2. So we have y equals 3 over 2x plus 10 divided by 2 is 5. The whole point of getting the slope-intercept form is to identify our slope. We want the same slope, so we're going to take this 2/3 and we're going to say, okay, well, that's our m value. That's the number in front of x. Now that we have our m value, we're going to continue with step number 3. And step number 3 is writing out your y minus y1 is equal to m open x minus x1. This is your point slope form. We're going to take our x1 and y1, plugging in -5 here and 2 here. Our slope is 3/2. Do we have double negatives? Yes. One set of double negatives, so we have y plus 5 is equal to 2, just kidding, 3/2. And then here's just -2. Step number 4, we are going to distribute that 3/2. Again, it is a fraction. It is okay. You'll live. So we got 3/2 x and 3/2 times a -2. Pick up a calculator here. 3/2, open, close it, times 2. And again, I have been very kind to you in this homework assignment, giving you pretty whole numbers when we deal with fractions. That I did create that on purpose. This is not it. Please don't think this is your answer. We got to subtract 5, subtract 5. Y is equal to 3/2 x. 5, 6, 7, 8. We get -8. This is your answer for B. So this is your question for B, and this is your answer for B. Okay, moving on. Now this one here is asking for perpendicular. So perpendicular actually requires an extra step in your solving. So step number 1 and step number 2 are going to be the same, but when you do step number 2 and identify your perpendicular slope, that's where things are going to be changing. Just one extra step changes everything. Step number 1, let's go ahead and do exactly what we did before. We're going to take our equation. Let's see where I have space. Let's separate this out here. So we have 2y is equal to 8x minus 6 divided by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. Okay, what are we doing here? We are solving for slope-intercept form. So y equals 4x minus 3. This right here is where we are going to take a look at our slope. And this is where things are going to change for step number 2. We have an old slope, which is 4 over 1 positive. This is where this came from. Then I need to create a new slope. We're going to take that positive and make it into a negative. So this positive became a negative. Then I'm going to take that 1, I'm going to put it on top, take that 4, put it on the bottom. This is the slope in step number 3 when we have our point slope form. That I need to pick up and I need to write in for my slope. Okay, do not use the old slope. Why are we not using the old slope? Because in our directions, when we read our directions, this is asking for perpendicular. So perpendicular means opposite reciprocal. We are taking the negative and the positive. We are also flipping the fraction. So label our point, x1, y1. y1 is 3, x1 is -3, and our new slope is -1/4. Do we have any double negatives? Yes. Let's write this out. Y minus 3 is equal to -1/4. Open x plus 3. And again, This is not the answer. Step number 4 is going to be to distribute that 1/4. We're going to take that negative 1/4, bring it onto x, which is just negative 1/4 x, and negative 1/4 onto 3. Again, this is where we pick up a calculator. Open negative 1/4, close it, times 3, open positive 3, and I get a decimal. Decimals are not allowed. Second PRB, convert that back to a fraction. This is a good looking fraction. It's not a mixed number, so we're going to write in a negative 3/4. Yes, that is still a fraction. That is okay. Decimals are not allowed. This is not our answer. We do need to add 3 to both sides. But we're adding a whole number to a fraction. That's okay. Calculators exist. Let's go ahead and do that. So we got, what do we have? Open, negative 3/4, close it. Okay, adding a 3. Decimals are not allowed. So second PRB. Ooh, so this is our first time looking at a mixed number. So this is 2 and 1/4. So we're going to keep this into a fraction. So that means this 4 stays. Now I'm going to take that 4 and I'm going to multiply it by 2. 4 times 2. Then I'm going to continue and add 1. So that means 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1. So that means my fraction is 9/4. Now this was a positive fraction. So everything here stays positive. If it was a negative, we would just ignore that negative and put that negative back in our answer. So we get 9/4. And I'm going to write my answer here just for space. Y equals negative 1/4 x plus 9/4. Make sure that x is in the middle, not touching the 1 and not touching the 4. This is your answer. That is perpendicular to the original. All right, let's do exactly the same thing again here. Step number 1, we're going to solve. So we got y equals mx plus b that we need for step number 1. So 2 steps here, I'm going to subtract 4x, subtract 4x, kind of like a literal equation where I'm not really doing much. I'm just shifting things around. And then here I am needing to divide everything by that 2 to get y by itself. I might run out of space here, so we might have to use a separate sheet of paper for some of the steps. That's okay. Step number 2, you must identify your old slope. So this right here is your old slope. It is negative. It is 2, so we're going to make it into a fraction of 2/1. That means that you need to create a new slope, making it a positive. Take that 1, put it on top. Take that 2, put it on the bottom. This new slope is the one that we are going to be using in our step number 3 for our equation for point slope form. So that positive 1/2 goes here. Label your point x1, y1. Notice I do not have any double negatives, so we're going to drop some of the parentheses, 1/2 positive now. Oops, step number 4. We're going to continue solving, taking that 1/2 on x, and that 1/2 of -8. So let's try this again. 1/2 times 8, -8, sorry. Oops. Let's try this again. 1/2 times -8 and -4. Adding 1, adding 1. Y is then equal to positive 1/2 x minus 3 is your answer for the perpendicular line. Okay, Write an equation of the line that passes through the given point for question number 11 that is parallel and perpendicular to the line. Okay, so they want two things. They want parallel, which means slope is the same. And they want a perpendicular, and perpendicular means you have the opposite reciprocal, which means we're going to be doing two things. So I'm going to immediately separate my paper here for parallel and then perpendicular. Okay, so they do not give us an equation to take a slope from, but they are giving us a line. And we want this line to be the one that we're using, kind of like they gave us an equation in number 9, A and B. They're giving us a line just without the equation. This is the line that we're going to take slope from. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 up, and 1 over. This is a decreasing. We are going downhill. And decreasing means that the slope is going to be negative. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the slope. And that's going to be a negative 1, just kidding, 4 over 1, which is just negative 4. Always go up first, then go to your right or to your left. So we are going left. Okay, but always choose the number that you're going up with. So for your parallel, we want the same slope. So this is what we have. This is what we're going to keep. And then we are immediately in step number 3 category here, where we've identified the slope. Parallel means the same slope, and we're already writing in our point slope form. Oops, that was weird. Let's try this again. I'm trying to do two things at once here. Let's go ahead and not do that. I was thinking and writing that way. Didn't work out. Anyways, now they did give us a point. Here's your point of x1, y1. So y1 was 3, x1 was 4. The same slope is negative 4. We get y minus 3 is equal to negative 4. Open x minus 4. And again, we continue to solve by distributing that negative 4. Positive 4 to 4 is 16. Add 3. Add 3. Y is then equal to negative 4x, 16, 17, 18, 19. Here for our parallel equation. Okay, why is it parallel? It has the same slope. Now for the perpendicular. Perpendicular has that question of what is the old slope? Well, the old slope, we went decreasing function, so negative. Then we went 4 up, 1 over. And we need to create a new slope, which is opposite. So I'm changing that negative into a positive, and I'm flipping that 4 and 1. I did not flip it. That was weird. I'm flipping that 4 and 1, making the 1 on top and that 4 on the bottom. This new slope is what I need to use in my equation to solve. Now the point, the x1, y1, those are still the same. That we're not changing. So y1 was 3, x1 was 4, and then the slope is the new slope of positive 1/4. Double negatives? No. So we continue. Distribute that positive 1/4 onto x. So x is now kind of in the middle. And then again, here we have a fraction times a whole number. 1/4 positive times -4. I get a -1. Make sure you're practicing how to use a calculator. Calculator questions will not be answered during testing time. That is something that you are also being tested on is, do you know how to use a calculator? 3 minus 1 is a 2. And here we have our perpendicular equation. Okay, moving on. Question number 12. Determine whether the sequence is arithmetic. If so, find the common difference. All right, so we are going to find the common difference. So we're kind of doing this in the opposite order of the question. Find the common difference. If it exists, it's going to be your step 1. Then tell if the sequence is arithmetic is going to be step 2. To find the common difference, you're going to take your right number, subtract it by your left number. So -12 minus -16. But that's not all I have. So now I'm going to shift my finger over. Now I have a new right number and a new left number. So now I have -8 minus a -12. Shift my finger over again. And now again, for the third time, I have a right number and a left number. So now I have -4 minus a -8. If the numbers end up being the same, if the difference ends up being the same for all of these, then yes, you have a common difference. And yes, it is arithmetic. Oh, that's wrong. I typed it in wrong. If, however, the numbers are not the same, even if just one number is different, then it's not arithmetic. It has to be the same common difference. So this is 4, -8, close it, minus open, -12. Oh, I get 4. Now, if this last one is 4, then that's good. That means, yes, we have a common difference, and yes, we have an arithmetic sequence. Let's see. Yes. So that means your common difference is 4. And that means that yes, the sequence is arithmetic. All right, let's try it again. We got our right minus left, our right minus left, and our right minus left. So right, that's not a right, that's a left number. That was silly. Take two numbers. Here's your right number. Here's your left number. So we got -7 minus -16. Then I'm going to shift my finger over. So now I'm looking at the next two numbers. Here's my right, here's my left. So now I have 2 minus a -7. Close it, shift my finger over. And for the third time, I have a right and a left. And I get 11 minus 2. We're going to double check all of my numbers and see if any of them give us the same number. Now, all of them must match or the answer is no. So we get 9. 2 minus a -7. Okay, that's 9. That's good. And then here, let's see what this is also 9. So that means part 1 of our answer, find the common difference. So the common difference, D is 9. And then let's answer this second part. If the sequence is arithmetic. So since there is a common difference, yes, the sequence is just another way to say a list of numbers, is arithmetic. Spelled arithmetic, pronounced arithmetic. All right, let's go again. Right minus left. So pick up your two numbers. Here's your right, here's your left. We got 9 minus 5. Shift one over. Here's a right, here's a left. So we get 14 minus 9. Shift one finger over. And then we got our right and our left. So we got 20 minus 14. Let's see what this gives us. 9 minus 5. 4. 14 minus 9. Oops. 14 minus 9. Yes, you do want parentheses. I get 5. And we get 20. Just kidding. 20 minus 14. And I get 6. So notice that these numbers are different. Now, they don't all have to be different. So it could have been the same, different. If one of them is not matching, there is no common difference. And since there is no common difference, no, the sequence is not arithmetic. Alrighty. Write the equation for the nth term. Oh, let's try this again. Write an equation for the nth term of the arithmetic sequence. Then find a sub 52. Okay. Write the equation. That's part 1. Then we need to find the 52nd position. All right. Step number 1, you're going to solve for your common difference. And I'm actually going to do that underneath the numbers because I'm going to do exactly what I did in question number 12. So I'm going to take two numbers. Here's my right, here's my left. 25 minus 30. Shift my finger. Because if it's not arithmetic, if it does not have a common difference, then I don't have to do anything. That means I cannot write an equation and I cannot solve for the 52nd term. Shift my finger. Alrighty, let's see what we have. If we have a arithmetic sequence or not with a common difference. I get -5, -5, and -5. Okay, so because yes, I have a common difference of -5, that means yes, I can continue. So step number 1 is finding your common difference. Step number 2 is writing out your formula. A little n, so a sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus d times n minus 1. You're going to plug in your a sub 1 and your d. Now, what is a sub 1? A sub 1 is the term in the first position. So what's the first thing that you see when they give you a list of things? That's your a sub 1. Keep your a sub n equals a sub 1 was 30 plus what's your common difference? A -5 times n minus 1. Keep your n. You're not doing anything with n. But you are taking this -5 and you are going to be distributing that -5 into an a sub n is equal to 30 plus -5 times n is -5n. Negative times a negative is a positive. 1 times 5 is 5. You are not done here. Step number 4, you want to combine like terms. And combining this 30 and this 5. So -5n. 5 and 30 is 35. This here is your answer. All right, let's try it again for B and for C. Again, let's start with step number 1, which is figuring out if we have a common difference. So we take our right number, subtract it by our left number, take our right number, subtract it by our left number, and take our right number, subtract it by our left number. All right, if you need to use a calculator for this, we got 18 minus 8, we get 10. 28 minus 18, we get 10. And 38 minus 18, we get, oh, just kidding. I got happy for a moment thinking it's not arithmetic, but it is arithmetic. How do we know it is arithmetic? We do have a common difference, which is 10. Step number 2, we're going to write out our formula, which is a sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus d times n minus 1. A sub n stays. A sub 1, remember what a sub 1 is? It's just the first number that you see. So the first number we saw was 8. So I'm going to write in 8 here. Plus, what was our common difference? Was 10. Step number 3, we do need to distribute this positive 10, giving us a sub n is equal to 8 plus 10n. Positive negative gives us a negative 10 here. And again, step number 4, we do need to combine like terms like 8 minus 10. We get 10n minus 2 as our answer. For C, it's going to be pretty much the exact same thing here. We're going to take our right number, subtract it by our left. Take our right number, subtract it by our left. And our right number, subtract it by our left. Let's go ahead and check what these are. 19 minus 27 is negative 8. 11 minus 19. Yes, please use parentheses in case there are double negatives. And 3 minus 11. Okay, so yes, this is arithmetic. How do we know this is arithmetic? Because yes, there is a common difference. So then we have our formula. A sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus d times n minus 1. Again, your a sub 1 is going to be the first number that you see. So step number 1, find your common difference. Step number 2, if you do not have a common difference, do not do this. Okay, this is only if yes, arithmetic. Okay, so what was the a sub 1? 27. What was the common difference? Negative 8. So that means that we need to distribute this negative 8 onto n minus 1. We end up getting a sub n is equal to 27 plus negative 8. And negative negative gives us a positive. 8 times 1 is 8. And again, step number 4 is to combine like terms here. So we get a sub n is equal to negative 8n. And 27 plus 8, 27 plus 8 is 35. Okay. After I have written out my equation, there is a part 2 to this question for question number 13. It asked us to write an equation and solve for the 52nd term. So writing the equation were these. Step number 4 was write the equation. After I write the equation, then I'm going to use that to solve for the 52nd term. Now, a sub 52 is another way to say n is 52. So this 52, this is your n value. So I'm going to separate these out for A, B, and C. For A, pick up your equation. A sub n is equal to negative 5. You're going to open for n, and you're going to open for n in 2 locations. The first location is where you're actually going to put in that 52. You're going to open up your calculator, -5, open 52, close it, plus 35 equals. So this is going to be your value. Now, for your answer, we do need this in function notation. So A, now you're going to put in 52 here as a little number. This is called a subscript, and this is your answer. Let's try to do this again. Pick up your equation. Okay, here's our equation for B. You're going to put in an n value of 52 because that's what they were asking us for. A sub n is equal to 10n minus 2. Open for n. Put in the 52. And again, you're going to do this in twice. First, you're going to put that in to calculate. 10, open 52, close it, minus 2. And you're going to put that in here as a subscript for your answer. Okay, last one, kind of barely giving us enough space, so maybe I'll do it here at the bottom. It's okay. I'll try to make it work. So n is equal to 52. Let's write out our equation. A sub n is equal to -8, open, plus 35. Put in the 52. Type that into the calculator, -8. See where you can see it. There it goes. -8, open 52, close it, plus 35. And again, we're going to use subscripts. So A sub 52 is equal to -381. Two parts. Writing the equation, solving for n is 52. Be careful, there is a two-part here. Okay, moving on. Graph the arithmetic sequence, then list the domain and range. Okay, so when you have an arithmetic sequence, they are giving you a discrete list. This is your A sub 1, A sub 2, A sub 3, A sub 4, ... And you are going to, you can do this as a T-chart if you'd like, where you have your input and your outputs. Your input are still kind of like your X values. You can call them your N value. And then your output are still your Y values, again, or you can call them your A sub N values. So if my N value are my subscripts, so I have an N value of 1, an N value of 2, an N value of 3, and an N value of 4. My A sub N values, this is A sub 1, A sub 2, A sub 3, A sub 4, is -1, -3, -5, and -7. Now, these are discrete graphs, so do not connect. So we are going to have 1 and -1, 2 and -3, 3 and -5, 4 and -7. Again, do not connect these. Now, for your domain, these are your input values. Typically, it's your x's. We don't have an x, we have an n. We are going to draw squiggly brackets for our domain, and we're going to list them from smallest to largest. No repeated values if you have repeated values. For your range, these are typically your output for y, but we don't have y. Instead, we have a sub n. So we're going to list our numbers from smaller to larger. So the smaller number is going to be actually -7, and the largest number is going to be -1. So be careful. You're always going to put your smaller numbers on the left and your larger numbers on the right. All right, beautiful people. This concludes your Chapter 4 review. I am going to make a separate video for the review questions from chapters 1, 2, and 3. Yes, they are part of homework. I don't think we're at homework number 7 anymore. Maybe we are. This is part of your homework, and it must be completed for credit. Reminder, extra credit will be for the very last time this semester on Chapter 4 exam. There will be no more extra credit for this semester as we wrap up semester number 1 in now less than a month. Okay? Chapter 4 exam will be the last opportunity for extra credit in semester number 1. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.